So we've been talking a lot in the last few days about this disease and epidemic of separation. Separation between ourselves and God, separation between ourselves and each other, separation between ourselves and the universe. Compassion reconnects us. It's very different from pity or sympathy, which stem from separation. Pity is me sitting over here going, oh, you poor thing. It's not bad, there's nothing wrong with it, it doesn't make me a bad person, but I'm separate from you. I'm in the viewer's box, watching your life. Sympathy stems from the pity. Oh, what you're going through, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm over here, you're over there. Not a bad emotion, we're not talking good and bad, but an emotion out of separation. Thank God it's you over there and not me over here. There's this very, very safe line between us. I can even feel good about myself. I'm such a sympathetic being. Look how much sympathy I have for you. Look how much I care. So my ego gets inflated. I'm not actually of any use to you. Because having somebody say, oh, you poor thing, I'm so sorry for you, doesn't help much. Those of us who have been through things in life, which we all have at different times, you know that what really helps, the only thing that really helps, is actually having someone be there with you. Whether they've got words to speak or they don't have words to speak. Whether they take you in their arms and you cry in their lap, or they just sit with you with your tears. That connection, that experience that there is someone here in this deep, dark, horrible place with me, is actually the greatest life preserver out of it. So compassion connects us. And we talk about it so frequently in a spiritual life, and as well as in a spiritual life that's dedicated to service, because we all want to cultivate compassion. We know we should serve. We know we should help. But if we're doing it from a position of separation, as we were discussing last night, it's not helping me, it's not helping you. If I can actually connect with you and recognize that you and I are one, doesn't mean that I turn your pain into my pain and now you're comforting me. But it means that I'm able to be there with you. And that I respond to your pain as though it were mine. So, for example, you are hungry. In the same way that I won't rest until I feed myself if I'm hungry, I'm going to take care of you in the same way. If you're sick, I'm going to serve you like I would serve myself. And there's two aspects of that. Number one, you and I are now connected. And two, I'm not doing it as the giver, as the one who has, as the one from sitting up above. I haven't lessened you in my eyes. Because last night, Elise asked about receiving. And if, when we give, we look down on any level upon the receiver, then we will never be able to receive in our own lives. If we feel higher than, better than, separate from, as the giver, we will never be able to receive. Because we will always feel that somehow the giver is the better person, is the higher person. And so it harms us when we're the giver, and it prevents us from ever being able to receive. Compassion brings the giver and the receiver into oneness. The example that I always give about this is if I trip and I fall, and I hurt my right leg, my left leg will pick up the extra weight. It's what we call limping. But no one says to the left leg, oh, you amazing left leg, you're such a humanitarian, you're so charitable, you're so wonderful. Let me give you an award, let me give you a gold star, let me appreciate you from morning till night. The left leg does it because it understands the right leg is self. There's a connection, a oneness. The left leg never says, oh my God, me again? Like, I just limped last week. Why is it always me? Why doesn't the right leg ever pick up extra weight? Forget it. I'm not going to do it anymore. Drag yourself around. It never says it. If I injured my right leg every week for the rest of my life, my left leg would limp every week for the rest of my life. And that is what real compassion is when we really are serving, not as a martyr, not as the good one, not as the righteous one, but because through our spiritual practice, we recognize the other as self. We recognize the universe as one, the world as one. And lastly, because we recognize that whatever we have isn't ours anyway. And that it just flows through us. And in that flowing of giving, we get connected. Lastly, when we have compassion, we have to remember to extend it to ourselves as well. In that world that we are connected to, in that world we are serving, in that world for whom we are feeling and meditating upon loving kindness, we also exist in that world. And what that means is that the same compassion we have for others, the same piece of our heart that understands where they're coming from, how they're trying, how they're struggling, allows us to understand that in ourselves. So we open up our heart of compassion for our own shortcomings, our own failings, our own humanity. Recognizing that ultimately we're one with ourselves. And that oneness that we have with ourselves is the way to experience the oneness with God. And that translates then into oneness with the world. But we have to be included in that. Otherwise, there's nothing to connect to.